and today we are going to make a really popular craft. It's the little red truck with the pumpkins and the Happy Harvest, and we're going to do it on this little wood pumpkin so that you can display it out in your yard. I don't know if you can see that very well, but so you get your wood pumpkin. I just picked this one up at Hobby Lobby for like $5, and that was the sale price of it. And then you'll also need some red vinyl. You can either use the heat transfer vinyl, that works, or the regular vinyl. Today I'm going to use the regular vinyl, and we'll see how that goes. Then we've got our orange vinyl, and then black vinyl for the tires. And then I also am doing one that says Harvest, Happy Harvest or Happy Fall, and I will put a link where you can download that for free, and then you can just change it out for Cricut Design Space. And then so it also has my name, our name, so I'm going to probably use this adhesive foil to try and put our name on it. And the other things that you'll need is some acrylic paint. I'm going to paint my pumpkin orange, and of course a paintbrush and something to put your paint in. So let's get started. What we want to do first is go ahead and get our paint. I just picked this up at Hobby Lobby, again for 30% off. I always try and get everything on sale at Hobby Lobby. And the cool thing about Hobby Lobby is their sales are cyclical. So if you kind of, like ribbon's going to be on sale one week, then the next week floral will be on sale. And so if you kind of start getting to know the patterns, you can know when your stuff is going to be on sale. For instance, I think paints go on sale once every 2 months or something like that, and it's usually 30% off, and so that's a good time to stock up. So what we just want to do is just really coat our wood pumpkin just as much as we want to put on there, and I'm going to cover it pretty well. So as I cover that with my paint, we'll take a little break, and then I will show you what the pattern is. So see you in a minute. Okay, so I've nearly finished painting my pumpkin, and it took less than 5 minutes. A couple of things to remember. I went ahead and I did paint the sides. You want to paint all your sides, and that's probably the I don't want to say the hardest part, but the most tedious. Whenever I paint, I make sure I cover it really well with the paint, a thick coat, and go along the grain of the wood. And it's okay if your brush strokes show up. A pumpkin is textured. This will be textured. That'll be nice. And when it dries, it'll look really good. After it dries, if you see some paint that you want to go through and touch up, you can do that, certainly. And you can even add some depth to it by adding a couple other colors in there. I'm not going to do that because I think most everything will be covered by the vinyl anyway. So I think I'm going to just leave it orange, and that's it, without any texture. And it dries pretty fast. I mean, this one side right here that I'm doing right now, it's already dry for the most part. So so I'm just going through and touching it up where it's the paint, you know, just kind of was into the wood and went into the wood. And so just finished that up. It took probably maybe half of this little tiny thing of paint, half of the Americana paint from Deco Art, maybe half of the bottle. So you can get quite a few uses out of that. And I just picked, it's called Pumpkin or Jack-o'-lantern Orange. I thought perfect color for the Halloween for this pumpkin. So that's what I did. I'm hoping though that my pumpkin, my orange for my vinyl that I'm using for the pumpkins is not going to blend in too much, but we'll see when that happens. So we'll let this dry, and then we will print our stuff out on the Cricut and attach it on here. So we'll see you here in a few. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to want to do is to print our layers of our vinyl. So I've got my Design Space open on design.cricut.com, and then I'm going to go ahead and find my projects, and I've already created it. So we come down here where my projects, we go to my projects right there, and you'll see it's Hello Fall. I'll open it up, and again, I'm going to give you a link on how to get the red truck and that kind of stuff. I don't know if I can give you the link right to this, since I went ahead and uploaded the red truck from another source, so they don't usually let you make it public. But on my website, KineAppleUnderpants.com, I will give you a link on how to get the truck and what fonts I used. And then so all we do is if you want to customize it, you customize it. I think I've measured everything out already, and it's going to call it up. It takes it a minute since it was an imported file, and as you can see, I've got little pumpkins in there and our name, the Songers, and then Hello Fall. And I measured my pumpkin what size it was, so this will fit nicely right across. And then so Design Space, it's ready to go. So all we do is we hit Make It, and it's going to separate our mats out, and I'm going to have 4 mats. And what I'm going to do though is the Hello Fall with our name, I'm not going to use black, I'll use another color. And then the gray is my wheels, which will be the black. Then we've got orange for our pumpkins, and then of course the red truck. And so the next thing that you want to do is you want to hit continue. Now some people will change the color of this. Since I'm only making one and I won't get confused, I'm okay with keeping it black but using another color. That really doesn't matter. And I hit continue, and it's going to pick up my machine. Well, since my machine's not on, I better turn it on. And I have 2 Cricut machines. I have the Maker, and I also have the Cricut Explore. And so I'm going to use my Cricut Maker today for it. And all you do is it finds your machine, and if I had my other one plugged in, it would list the other one too, so you get a choice. And then you set your material, and I'm just doing plain vinyl, and it tells me to load my fine point blade and my mat, and I load it, hit cut, and that's what I'll do for all 3 of my or 4 of my cuts, and then we'll attach it. Okay, you can see that the Cricut cut out all of our shapes. A couple of things I wanted to tell you is your Cricut mats, some people just use one and change them out. Over the years, I've kind of collected mats, and so I'm able to do 5 or 6 mats. And what I like to do is cut my pieces of vinyl beforehand, and then stick them on my mat and make sure all my mats, that way I'm not covering a whole mat and then having to figure it out later. I just look and cut out my pieces. And I went ahead and instead of the foil, I went ahead and used some glitter, gold glitter. But our next thing that we want to do is we want to weed out our glitter vinyl. And this to me is the most tedious. Some people really find this therapeutic. I don't, as you can see, because then I get little areas where it didn't cut all the way through, and I have to go back through and get my scissors and cut it. But anyway, so we want to weed out our vinyl, and then we're going to have left is just our shapes, and then all the negative space of the vinyl will be gone. So as I'll do that, and I'll come back and show you what we do after that. So let's get to weeding. Okay, so we've got all of our pieces weeded and cut out. And so the next thing that we want to do is go ahead and put on our Cricut transfer tape. Some people use the transfer tape, or they use contact paper. I've got both, so I thought I'd go ahead and use the Cricut. And I don't always use transfer tape, but in this case, since I'm layering these here, I need to go ahead and do that. And I also will do it on my letters to keep them straight. So you just, I don't like using it because I'm not as good as some people are. And I don't always find the end very well. There we go. I actually did it right the first time I tried. So the key to this, I'm learning, is that you peel off where you can handle both. And see here, I've already dropped it, but that's okay. And I just lay it as straight and as best as I possibly can, right across like this. Easy cheesy, and peel it right off. And then you take your burnishing tool, or I also am really big on using my little brayer, just because I don't know, I've just gotten in the habit of using that, but you've got a burnishing tool. And also another thing that works really well is if you are into Pampered Chef and they have for just clean your stoneware, you can use those as well, and those work great. And a lot of people will take their thing off their mat and put it on then, but I think sometimes the mat will curl up, so I always do mine on my mat. And so once I get this on here, and I don't know what I've done with my burnishing tool. I had it like 2 seconds ago before I went on camera. But the old time bone folder should do, and you just kind of burnish it where it's going to stick to your transfer tape when you peel it up, and that's all you do. You just work it through, and then you very carefully, see, I gotta keep burnishing it so it'll go ahead and stay on there. Since I've got long nails work just fine, and it just peels right up just like that. And so we'll do that with our letters, and what I'll do here is I'll turn it over, and I'll take my tires, and I'll put my tires just right here in the middle. And if you're off a little bit, that's okay, as long as it's not doesn't show on the white on the outer rims. And so we'll go right here and put our tire right here, just like that. And then here we've got our little red truck, and he's going to be ready to go onto our thing here in just a moment. So my next thing that I'm going to go ahead and use my transfer tape on are my letters. So I will do that, and then I'll join you over at the craft table in just a minute. Okay, so we're ready to put everything on our pumpkin. We've got our transfer tape with our pumpkins in the back, and our wheels on. And so what we want to do is we want to decide where we want to place it on our pumpkin. And just as I feared, though, the orange is gonna cancel itself out, but I've got a quick fix for that when we attach it. But I take my laser thing, or you can use a ruler. I'm kind of a dork, and I always want everything to be just straight as can be. And so I'm going to play with it a little bit because I know I want to do my Hello Fall. So I think that'll be where I decide to put my truck with my pumpkins, and put it across the laser, and my Hello Fall. I realize that my glitter letters need strong, what's called strong grip paper, and I didn't have any. So that's another good reason why I have a good straight laser is I can do these manually and put them here. So I'll do those at the very end, and you don't need to watch me peel each and every letter off as I go straight through. But this little laser, the cool thing is it's got another section, so, and you can turn it on and it squares everything up for you if you want, or you can attach it and it makes it a straight line. So the little laser is the coolest thing. Let me show you. So you can either square it up or leave it straight, make it longer, and it works with just pretty much everything. So I just use it to make sure I've got straight lines everywhere. And so what we want to do here now is we want to take our burnishing tool, and which is just this little tool right here, and we just want to go through and just burnish our vinyl right onto our wood. And Cricut vinyl, you shouldn't have to do anything to it to seal it. Once it's on, it's on. And they have different types of vinyl that you can use. You can also, you don't even have to use Cricut vinyl. I found a great vinyl place online, and it sells me Sizer heat transfer vinyl, and you can use heat transfer vinyl in here too. You just use your iron or even your heat press, for that matter. I'm still waiting for my heat press to come in. And you just burnish and burnish and burnish and get this on here. But they have outdoor vinyl. There's a lot of talk about 651 vinyl and all this kind of stuff, so it's just your preference. I know that there's a vinyl that they sell at Hobby Lobby that, and I don't even know the name of it, but I've used that before, and sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on what I'm trying to do. And like I said earlier, if you don't have one of these little burnishing tools, you can get a, if you do Pampered Chef or have Pampered Chef, you can get one of the little plastic cleaning spatula things that they use, and those work just fine. And so I just want to keep working at this till I can get it started, and hopefully just start peeling, and there it goes. It just peels right off, and if you find a little piece that is stubborn, you just stick it back down, and you just keep doing that, and then pretty soon the whole thing will just come right off your transfer tape. And I find that the slower I go, the better it is, because when it comes off, if it still has a little part attached, I can just stick it right on down with my finger and just go through and take it off. And then you can also burnish as you go. I do that whenever I'm on putting stuff on my walls, as I burnish as I go, so it'll stick on my walls better. And I've also found that when I'm doing my vinyls letters on walls and stuff, that the letters have a hard time sticking to flat paint. And when we moved into this house, that's all that they did was just flat paint. And so sometimes I find my letters down on the ground, and I have to pick them up and reattach them. But every room where I've painted with, because I like to use either eggshells or semi-gloss, or I don't like flat paint even on walls. I'll use it on the ceiling, but that's about it. But I like satin and eggshell and semi-gloss. That vinyl sticks a lot better to those than it does the flat paint. So let's see how easy that's just coming off. So there you go, there you have it. And then if you got little bubbles in there, those aren't hard to get out. You just take your burnishing tool and you just go over your little bubbles, and they'll come right out. They'll just get right on down. And so there it is. And then I'll put the letters on. You don't need to watch me do the letters, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the finished product along with my quick fix with the how the pumpkins have blended in. All right, see you in a few. Okay, so I've got my letters on there. There's my truck. As you can see, my pumpkins are not showing up very well. So there's an easy fix for that. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a black fine tip Sharpie and just go right around each pumpkin like so. And it doesn't have to be perfect or neat. Just where it goes around each little pumpkin a little bit. And then so then you can tell the difference, you know, where the pumpkin is as opposed to the wood. And I just go around each little stem and the pumpkins. And I've overlapped my pumpkins a little bit, so I'll have to go around each one that I overlapped. And then I just kind of come in here where the truck is, the little thing for the truck. Go around each little pumpkin. And there you have it. It's all done. And you've got your little sign, and you can personalize it with your name, which I'll add to that later. But again, if you want to check it out, I've got a link, or you can go to my website, www.kineapple, K-I-N-E-A-P-P-L-E, kineappleunderpants.com. And thanks for watching my tutorial today, and I hope it helped. Have a good one.